Hello everyone, welcome to Prestige Castle Farm. My name is Innocent. Today I'll be discussing between the wooden cage and the galvanized cage. Which one should you go for? The pros and cons of both of them and our experience. Of course, our experience is quite subjective, but we hope that you can learn from them and try and avoid some of the mistakes we make. So we start with the cost first. So this is the wooden cage, that we have. This is a 15 unit wooden cage, and the length is 2 feet by 2 feet, and that's the first mistake we make. The standard size of a room is usually 2 feet by 2 feet for rabbit, but what we've seen is that it really not convenient, especially if you intend to have your doe, that is your pregnant doe. If you want your pregnant doe to litter in that particular unit and take care of the bunnies until they are weaned, what you will observe is, what you will see is that the bunnies, I always love space. I like space. I like my bunnies, my rabbit, to have space, and it helps them both in exercising within the room. So the first mistake we made was we went with with the standard size, a 2 feet length by 2 feet width, and what I'm not really happy with that. If I had known what I know now, would have gone for 2 feet by 2.5 feet, because then that gives enough space. But anyway, we have to do with that. So let's analyze the wooden cage. Okay, we use the hardwood. So the first thing we did was that we used the hardwood. The hardwood is good because with the hardwood, in fact, you must use the hardwood. There's softwood, there's hardwood. What we saw, the good thing was that we used the hardwood, and it's difficult for the rabbit to successfully chew the wood, because you will see them, rabbit are actually wide, it's just that we've domesticated them. So sometimes they get bored and, they use their teeth they chew on the wood. One way of them doing that is just to, sharpen their tooth so that it doesn't overgrown. So that's one way. Sometimes that's one way. They get bored and they just chew on the wood. So what we observed was that the hardwood is a good choice for us because they can't chew through it off. But the first mistake we made was that we would have given them enough space, so we just used the standard space. So there isn't enough space for them to play around. The good thing we did as well was, at the base of the cage, we use a very good. We do not use this. We do not use this net. This one, don't use this at all. This can be used for maybe just in the door, in making the frame of the door. This what they call it? Is it mosquito net? I don't know. This particular one is very light. Don't use it at the base of your. Don't use this at the base of your rabbit cage. If you do that, rabbits are very strong, they would damage it very easily. This is what we use. We got this at the timber market. So this is what we use here. Let me show it to you. It's very strong, very strong. This is the base. It's very strong. Very strong. It's red. I will just show you a picture of this. I'll just put a picture of this. So that's what we use at the base, and it was the right choice that we did. But what we then observed with this, the disadvantage of using that basement, this red strong basement. The advantage is that it's strong. The rabbits, they can't damage it. They can't do any damage on it. But what we saw is that when our rabbits started growing very big, and sometimes they eat their hawk at the base. Sometimes rabbits do that, maybe to tell you that maybe just stay away, or to communicate danger as well. What we saw is that as they're growing very big, and as they eat their leg there, or maybe we do not trim their nail, we started experiencing a little bit of sore. Few of our rabbit had sore. And sore is just injury at the base of the leg. And that is why we're currently trying to get a plastic mat for all our cage. We are in the process of doing that. We actually want to import that. So I will show you when we imported the plastic mat. It helped in solving sore issues. So few of our rabbit have that issue. Ideally, it's best to just use maybe something that is soft, or you could get some hairs and put at the base of your rabbit. But the danger of that is that, the drawback of that is that you have to constantly remove the hairs, because they will poo and they will pee on it. And if you don't do that, that could cause disease for the rabbit. One of the good things that a lot of people, when they come to our farm, they testify is that our rabbits are clean, neat, and we are very, very conscious of that, because once a rabbit cage is clean, you rarely have issue with disease. So in order to solve the sore issue that we're having currently, just few of our rabbits, which have grown huge weight, we've ordered for the mat to put at the base to help those big rabbit of ours. But back to the issue, to the stuff, like this is current to set this up currently. It's going to cost you around 15,000 naira per room from our analysis. Previously, you could do a 15 unit wooden cage for maybe 100,000 naira. But now it has gone up. It's almost double the price because of the high cost of wood and high cost of building materials. So the disadvantage as well with this wooden cage is that you constantly need to do some repairs, because let me give you this pattern. For example, you use pattern to make this door. Sometimes the rabbit will chew on this pattern and chew, because the pattern is soft. It's not like the hardwood that is used. They will chew on it and spoil the door. So you have to constantly repair the. In fact, that is why. In fact, this mosquito net, we didn't even use it in this one. Let me show you this one now. For example, here we did not use it. We used the galvanized cage to just use this galvanized iron to do the frame of this particular door. But unlike this mosquito, this doesn't usually last long. They easily spoil this. So the disadvantage of this is that you have to constantly, at least once in 6 months or 3 months, do some repair this. But it does last well. It does last well. It could last you for years, depending on how you maintain the wooden your cage. But from my analysis currently, the price previously, the galvanized cage is more expensive, like with about 50% more expensive than the wooden cage. But currently, honestly, there's no much difference. There's no much difference in terms of cost, especially here in Nigeria, in terms of cost between both of them. But I currently prefer the galvanized cage to the wooden cage. And so let me take you to the galvanized cage and show you some of the example and some of the good things with the galvanized cage. So this is our galvanized cage. So the galvanized cage, I prefer the galvanized cage really, because it's strong. You can see it's very, very strong. It's durable. It can last you for a very long time. The current cost of doing this now per unit would cost you around the minimum will cost you about 15,000 naira minimum, right? And that is 15,000 would include this. Now let me tell you, when you want to put the poo collector, this poo collector, make sure that you get a plastic poo collector, right? Don't use your normal zinc like this. Don't use something like this as in your poo collector, because you know the rabbit urine is very acidic and it would rust this particular zinc easily. But with this plastic zinc, nothing, it's absolutely okay to use this. Okay, but the total cost of this would cost you nothing less than 15,000 per unit, per room unit, and then you have to then calculate it by the number of units you are interested in. Another advantage of this is that you can insert your water nipple drinker. You can see the water nipple drinker over there. You see is functioning. The water nipple drinker is functioning. I think that one we need to fix that particular one because it is dripping a little bit. But those are the water nipple drinker. Is really good. What it means is that there's water always constantly for the rabbit, constantly, as you can see over here too. You can see them over there. You can see the water drinker over there, the nipple drinker, they're all there. So the advantage of this is that the water is flowing. You don't need to get to be changing, like you don't need to use both. Like here we don't use the nipple drinker here. We use the feeders, not the J feeders. We use the normal concrete feeder here, both for feeders and our drinker. So for me, I think the galvanized is better. I think the galvanized is actually better currently than the wooden, because the cost price for both currently they are very similar. They are very similar, but with the galvanized is going to stand the test of time longer, and you don't have to always constantly do so much repair in comparison to the wooden stuff. So that is the pros and cons of both. And I hope you make the right choice. Take care of yourself. Bye bye.